And as Wendy said, welcome. And we will be going through the California Master Beekeeper Program with you today. The idea, the intention for tonight is to give you an overview of the program, who we are, what we're about, how we can support you in the beekeeping journey. We also look forward to learning a little bit about you. And also we have a Q&A section at the end. So if you have any questions throughout the presentation, feel free to put them in the chat. We might answer them immediately, or we might wait till the end to answer them. So we thank you for staying muted during the presentation. And the presentation usually takes around 40 minutes, and we'll have the Q&A in the last section.
Yeah, and
So
if you want to remember your questions, just pop them in the chat as we go.
Yeah, thank you. So we'll start with introducing the CAMP team, the California Master Beekeeper Program. That's our acronym, the CAMP. Wendy, would you like to go first?
Sure. I'm Wendy Mather. I co-manage this program with Kian. I've been with the program going on 7 years now. I've been a beekeeper since 2007. I used to work in the industry commercially, and now I am a happy backyard beekeeper, and I get to play with the bees at the lab as well, which if you join the program, we hope you'll have an opportunity to do the same with us when we have our in-person classes in the beginning of 2025, January through, well, mid-July-ish. So yeah, that's a bit about me. How about you, Kian?
Yeah, those in-person classes you mentioned are my favorite as well. I have been with CAMP for 2 years now, over 2 years. Time flies. I graduated college 2 years ago. I got involved in beekeeping my last 2 years of college. I was at UCLA, and I was into sustainability projects, and one of them was getting beehives on campus and establishing a training program for students. And there were no beehives on campus. There's a lot of red tape we had to work through. And Wendy was part of CAMP. As she mentioned, she's been with us for a long time. She and the other members of CAMP supported UCLA in developing the program there. So that's just one example of how CAMP is all about community, and you'll see that through this presentation. It's more than a certification exam. We hope you're joining a beekeeper community that will support you throughout your life and in whatever your goals are in beekeeping. And they definitely helped me and the UCLA cohort get everything started. And UCLA is doing very well right now. They have multiple apiaries, not only on campus, and a big training program. That's a little bit about me.
Yeah,
And then yeah,
one of many satellites across the state, right? Yeah,
correct, one of
yeah,
many.
yeah.
And in the center here, we have the director of the program, Dr. Elena Lastro Nino. She's UC Extension Specialist in Apiculture. And that is what the California Master Beekeeper Program is based out of, UC Davis and UC Extension. And so Elena developed a lot of the curriculum and the exam questions that are in the program. And of course, that curriculum and exam questions have been updated by members and by curriculum development committee over the years. But she's an integral part. She's the research and the brains behind the operation. And she teaches some of the classes as well. So she's not here with us tonight, but she's part of the celebration. You'll see her in classes. So she's when Wendy and I don't know the answer to a question, she's the one we go to, and also the other people in the lab. Great, so we'll do a quick poll to learn a little bit about everyone here. Let's go ahead and start it. So poll should have launched just 4 questions. Feel free to fill it out. Love to learn, see where you're from, how many hives you have.
We have a request for you to turn up your volume if you can, Kian.
Okay. Maybe I'll just speak a little bit louder. Yeah.
That works.
Yeah, hopefully it's not too loud.
No, it's not. Thank you. All right. What
Oh,
do you
great.
think?
15. Yeah, it says let's end the poll. I think we got almost everyone. Not everyone. Let's see. Actually, wait, let's wait a little bit longer. I think there's still a few people going through.
Okay.
Okay, great. Fine. And I'll share the results as well so everyone could see. So it looks like most of the people on the call have 0 hives, but 20% have 1 hive, and another 20% have 4 or more hives. And everyone here, you're in the right place.
Yeah.
The CAMP program is meant for complete novice beekeepers, no experience, and also for those with a lot of experience because there's 4 different levels, as you will see, and a lot of opportunity to learn from different levels. People, where are you from? Looks like most people are from Northern California, and not as many from Southern California.
75-25, about that. Yep.
Are you? And how did you hear about the program? Google search is the top.
Huh.
And word of mouth is also there, club and other.
Yay
And
clubs. Yeah, yay
yeah,
clubs.
and are you part of local beekeeping club? Looks like around 65% of people are not, and 34% people are. Great. Well, thank you for
Wonderful.
sharing, and
Yeah.
that will help us a little bit context on how we're going to go through the presentation, what we'll
Yeah.
focus on. So.
Yeah. Terrific. Yeah, so we all keep bees for different reasons, don't we? Um, and it might be fun for you to start considering the reasons and the goals that you are looking to establish. Let's go to the next slide. Um, and they have various stocks, hives, various ways of extracting their products. And most of us have pretty good IPM, integrated pest management regimens for pests and disease treatments to keep our bees healthy. And there are 9 considerations that are pretty important, and perhaps you saw this on our website already because it is embedded in the front page, but consider asking yourselves these questions. Is it legal to keep bees where you live? Why do you want to keep them? Um, is pesticide use very common in your area? Is there enough food in the spring, summer, and fall to support a hive? Are you going to have to supplement feed them? Can you afford to keep bees? My goodness, can we ever spend money on bees and beekeeping? Do you have time? Bees take time. Are we physically able to tend to our bees? Can we lift a medium super? And what the heck are we going to do with all that honey and all those lovely beekeep products that we harvest from our hives? So these are just some minor considerations and some major considerations that you might want to think about. If you're not able to have bees in your community, then perhaps your local club has an apiary that you can join and practice out of. So that is a consideration as well. So just look into who's around you, who keeps bees, and who's in where your local club is, basically.
So a little bit about camp and what we do, who we are. So we're all about science-based beekeeping, right? We're out of UC. We're all about research-based and evidence-based, and we do take a holistic approach where, there's research papers, and that's kind of the gold tier, and then also, there's colloquial evidence or anecdotal evidence, and that's also valid. but you just have to understand that it's not the gold tier, or like understand that there's like maybe 50 people have the same experience, right? Versus would it be 5 people? Maybe 5 people, you're not so sure that that's really the right answer, right? So that's kind of the perspective we take on science-based beekeeping, and how we achieve this goal of helping all California residents engage in science-based beekeeping is standard setting. So the exams, right? That's what this program is kind of based around. There's 4 different levels, there's 4 different exams. There's a standard to reach, and the standard is developed not by people scratching their heads in offices at UC Davis, but it's actually developed by you. So the curriculum development committee that I mentioned is made up of not only researchers, but also practical beekeepers and commercial beekeepers. And this is what you're learning. You're going to be learning useful information that is up to date scientifically as well. Also, building and serving community, as we'll talk about, it's not just Wendy and I. We can't serve everyone in the state. Um, so what we've done is we work with great organizations, clubs that are already out there doing great work, and we integrate with their programs so that you can get a local hands-on beekeeping experience. So we're building out this network of additional organizations, and we will connect you to those and get you involved, because that's how you learn. You want to talk to people, you want to understand your local environment. Next one is education, and so that's all of our classes and all the information that we disseminate.
Yeah, certification levels begin with the honeybee ambassador level. So if you've never kept bees before, that's the place to start. And in order to be an apprentice, you'll have wanted to be in the bees with a mentor if you don't personally own your hives, or somebody at your local club, or perhaps you have the good fortune of living by one of our satellite hubs. Just take the time to physically get into an apiary, crack some lids to really feel into whether this is for you. Because actually being in the bees is not for everybody. Some people like to take the honeybee ambassador level, learn broad scope around science-based beekeeping and honeybee health, and then be able to share information with other people in conversation just about bees regarding what is taught at that level. And at the apprentice level, we do expect you to have a minimum of 20 hours in the hive, or own hives of your own for at least a year. And at the end of that level, you will have all the competencies and skills and knowledge required to be able to keep healthy hives. At the journey level, we build upon what we've learned at the apprentice level, and we add in queen rearing. And if you like, we can explore instrumental insemination. And we also do advanced anatomy and physiology. And the practical exam for the journey level is a little more intense in that you are required to build upon the skills that you did at the apprentice level, which is basically at the practical piece of the apprentice level exam in the field. You're displaying all of the competencies that you have learned that establishes you as a great beekeeper, basically. So you're building on that at the journey level, and you're working through it more quickly, and you're able to know what your goals are going into every single hive inspection that you do. And then you're able to mitigate for all pests and disease, and you're able to employ your integrative pest management, and of course keep your hives healthy. We also cover at the journey level practical honey tasting, and we go over Varimorpha processing and microscopy. So that's exciting. And then at the master level, it's basically a capstone project. And we invite folks to focus on what brings them joy with beekeeping. And there are 6 tracks that you can choose, and it's project based. And basically, you can do something in education and outreach, science based research. You can you can establish a satellite hub. You can work with native bees and pollinator gardens. You can also help me out here, Kiana. I'm missing 2 of them. Um,
Sorry, I was spacing out.
yeah,
You did research, you did
yeah,
native
research
pollinators.
of native
Okay.
pollinators, establishing a hive, education and outreach. Um, um, and I can't think of the other 2, but they're
We
on
have
the
a slide for
website.
it. Don't worry
Yeah,
about it. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're on the
It's totally
website.
fine.
Yeah, so basically, the honeybee ambassador level, you can breeze through that in no time, but you have up to 18 months to get through it. As the same for the apprentice level and the journey level and the master level, you can do it in 2 years. We've had people come into the program and they've finished all 4 levels in less than 2 years. It depends on what your goals are as a learner, what type of learner you are, how motivated you are, and it also depends on your access, of course, to an apiary as well. So, if there are any questions about what I've just shared with you, please pop them in the chat and we will definitely speak to them at the end of this presentation.
That's
Thank
good.
you.
Yeah. And there's as you mentioned, there's like a lot of different strategies, right? So if you
Yeah.
already feel like you have a solid foundation, then it's still useful to go through apprentice level, start with that, see if there's any holes that you can fill in, but you can finish it really quickly, right? You'll see that the way that you take the exams, the way that you're evaluated is really on your own schedule. We try to make this program as flexible as possible so everyone across the state can take it and make it fit into their schedule if they have a job or if they whatever other commitments they have.
Yeah. So basically, that's why you want to certify, right? So you've got goals and you set the goals. It's really important. Beekeeping is pretty much a goal-based hobby, and it requires planning. So that's also important. Being a part of a program of this nature, you always have access to the latest and greatest research, and you also have a network of really great responsible beekeepers across the state that you can connect with. And it's, I mean, it is, everybody can be successful as long as we apply ourselves because it can be rigorous. It's studying. And for some of us, and I put myself in this camp, I'm not always the best at studying. I am a hands-on learner, and as long as I can be in a group with other people, really working hives, that's how I learn best. And you the best, you know how you learn the best. So I would also invite us all to consider what's the best learning style for us. So, do I go to my local club and take classes at my club while I work this program online as well at the same time to certify? Or do I show up at Davis and take in-person classes in January through June, or, or something else? This is something that we can discuss towards the end of the presentation and the Q&A as well.
Yeah, and I'd like to also highlight the goal setting because that one is really useful for those beekeepers that are like novices or just starting out because there's a lot of different goals as Wendy went over in one of the first slides. Maybe you want beekeeping to be something you do with your kids, or more of a community event, or maybe you want it to be like just producing honey and selling it at farmers market. This, especially the first few levels, will help you be exposed to all the opportunities so that you can set your goals if you don't have goals yet. So maybe you'll take a class on meat making that we have. Maybe you'll take the class on the wax working, see if that, or maybe, when you take working your colonies, you're like, this is too much work. I don't have time to inspect every 2 weeks in summer. Then, we're here to help you set your goals. So who backs this standard, which is the certification exams? We were talking about these partner organizations, and this map is not up to date, but I think we have 2 or 3 more. And you see, we have one in Hawaii too, so we're not just in California, I guess. But we work with research labs, companies, the government of California, state government, and beekeeping associations, which are basically the clubs, to provide you in-person beekeeping experiences, and also to develop the classes. And really, we're here to connect you. So if you're looking for something, you're interested in doing research, or you need to reach out to someone, or Wendy and I and Alina in the lab can see what resources we can help you get connected to, or point you in the right direction, really, as well. So there's, in addition to our partners, we collaborate with even more organizations, and these are a lot of them listed. At the top right, that photo is of the UCLA cohort a few years ago. So that was at their second apiary they established at Stunt Ranch in Santa Paula. That was fun. At the bottom right, that is one of our partner organizations in Southern California, UC Irvine, South Coast Research and Extension Center, OCB team, Orange County B team. And they're doing some wax or honey extraction, it looks like there. So a little bit of logistics, and to help you understand what is this program, right? We've been talking about exams, but how does it really work when you want to go through it? So the first step is registration. And that's just going through our website, filling out an application that will take probably 20 minutes, maybe half an hour. And then after registration, there's orientation. So that orientation is kind of similar to this meeting we're having right now, but we're going to cut out most of the slides and just go more detail into how to study and really how to access all the resources and all the classes. So orientation, and also I should mention the program, this is important to understand, program is asynchronous because we want people to be able to enter the program at any point during the year. So if you feel like next month you don't have time to join the program, that's okay. You could join anytime. We have orientations quarterly, so you can wait after you enter the program for the next orientation, or this is how we make it flexible for everyone. We have the recordings, right, from the most recent orientation all the time, and we do the same thing with the classes. So next is preparation. That's really, we call preparation. That's the studying, getting ready. If you feel like you're already ready, you could just take the exam immediately. But we recommend going through the resources, through the practice exams to really prepare yourself or make sure you're prepared. Then after that, evaluation. So Wendy and I have been mentioning practical exam so far during this presentation. And what practical exam really means is like an in-person exam. So not all the levels, but it's not the first 3 levels actually it's changed. So it's just the apprentice and the journey level. Those 2 levels, the 2 middle levels, have an in-person exam. And we'll go into detail on where you can take the exam. You can even take it in your own at home if you need to. But that's how it works. And then there's also a written exam as well for each level, other than the master level, which is the capstone that Wendy mentioned. So we test the book smart, so we make sure you're up to speed on that. And then also we help you with the practical hands-on to make sure you're really a well-rounded beekeeper in all respects. Yeah. So we have it's more than 1 year now. So for the first level, Honeybee Ambassador, I believe it's still 1 year. And then apprentice level is 1.5 years. And journey level is 1.5 years. And master level is 2 years. So if you have a long time, once you enter the program, you don't have to finish everything immediately. If it's not the height of beekeeping season, you can't practice that much, you can wait till the next year because you have at least a year. And also, after you take your certification exam and pass, there are continuing education and volunteer requirements to maintain active certification. Seven. I think there's a video there. Okay. And then I want to do a quick demo on what registration looks like for everyone here. If you are ready to do that, you will be able to do that. So if you want to say anything, Wendy, if you have anything, it's going to take me a second to log into the test account that I didn't pre-log in. If there isn't, that's fine. Just wait.
Sure,
Yeah, are
it
there any
was,
questions for us to go over?
there
Or
are, yeah, which we'll go into more detail, but it was also making me crazy that I couldn't remember the two other points that we do for the capstones. So again, native bees and pollinator gardens, commercial beekeeping, scientific research, education and outreach, policy for honeybees and native pollinators. That's the one I forgot, and the camp partner organization development. So developing a satellite hub. Yeah, yeah. And so, are we waiting for a video?
I am logging into the test account so they see
Oh,
how it
right
looks
on.
like.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Here we go. Okay, so share screen. I actually just logged out again, so you guys can all start from scratch. So, if you're ready to
Yeah, there we
look at
go.
the application,
Yeah.
then you need to create an account first. But really what you do is you go to certifications, and if a lot of you went through Google, you already did some of this. You went to click the attend info session here, but instead of click attend info session, click register. And then register, I'm not logged in yet, so it's going to ask me to log in. If you don't already have a login account, it's free to create an account. Very simple, it's just creating a username and password. So click create an account. So click on create an account just to show you what that looks like. Put email address, username, and that's all. So pretend you just create an account. I'll log into this account I have. So now you're in the application, certification exam application. And when you're going through the application, as long as you click the next button for each page, the previous information you filled in is saved. So you can leave and come back, but it's not too long, so you should probably be able to do it in one sitting. Just know that you can come back. So there's you select what level you're applying to, contact information, background information, make sure you're eligible, and that's it. Painless, hopefully. You try to make it painless. And I will go out.
And there is a question in the chat regarding, if somebody's kept bees for a long time, do they have to start right at the beginning? And the answer to that question is yes, please, at the apprentice level, because we like to establish a baseline for all of the California Master beekeepers who are certified in the program to have the same knowledge base and understand similar practices. So we all start at the same level. And as we mentioned, you can buzz through it as quickly or as slowly as you need to.
So once you apply, which we just showed you the application, you finish that, you don't need to choose an exam date when you apply. That's important to know. You can schedule your, at least for the in-person practical exams, for depending on how you do it, you may need to schedule it if you want to go to a proctor near you. but you can schedule that whenever you want. You can schedule it really far in advance if you want, after you get accepted, or you can wait until you're ready, like months down the line, and book it then. We try to offer them throughout the year so that you can take it anytime. But generally, they're available if you're going to go through a proctor more in spring and summer because most proctors don't want people to go through their hives in winter like a ton. It's not healthy for the bees. So you don't need a choice exam date when you apply. Then we review your application internally, and then we'll reach out for more information if we need to. And then we'll accept you. So you'll receive an acceptance letter from Alina Lastro Nino, Dr. Nino. And then after that, so we're out of UC, right? We're a nonprofit. And the reality of the situation is, there still are some costs for the program. And we offer scholarships as well. So that is an option if needed. So please reach out to us if that's needed. And then, so after you pay, then you gain access to all of the prep resources and you go through the program essentially.
Yeah, and I'd like to add regarding the scholarship piece, we also have a partnership with Hives for Heroes. So if you are a veteran, if you are a first responder or a firefighter, you are invited to join our program. And once you certify, Hives for Heroes will reimburse you the cost of the certification.
Yeah, great program they have.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we're kind of going through all those steps from before, right? I said registration, we talked about
Mm-hmm.
registration. Now we're going to go we want to talk about orientation, preparation. So orientation, we usually have quarterly now, and you can watch it live or watch a recording. Evaluation. So as I mentioned, there's two types. There's the in-person and there's the written exam. And written exam for all the levels that have written exam is 2 hours long and 80% is passing. Practical exam is the in-person exam. It's 30 minutes long and 80% is also passing. And for practical, you can go to one of our proctored locations and take the exam that way. Or you can go on Zoom at your own apiary or wherever you have access to a hive, and we'll administer the exam to your Zoom. We'll prompt you and test you that way. Again, we're trying to be as flexible as possible for everyone in the state. And you can also even record a video of yourself going through the rubric and upload that. So if you don't have any Wi-Fi, so really there's many different ways to take the exam. You don't have to drive to UC Davis. We have proctors all around the state. And retakes are granted under special circumstances. We try to take a holistic approach at learning. So now we'll go through
Yeah.
each level.
Yeah. Basically, no requirements necessary, no previous experience. And basically, you just learn about honeybee history and bee keeping basics. Yeah. Next. So yeah, basically that, right? And as I mentioned before, once you're on the other side, certified as an apprentice level beekeeper with the California Master Beekeeper Program, you have all of the skill and knowledge needed to be able to effectively and efficiently keep bees. Yeah, next. And here's just an overview of some of the content, basically. I don't need to read it, but you see there that we do pretty much cover everything. And take note of the practical. Kian was mentioning in the previous slide. Once you have access into your member portal, you'll be able to have a peek at the practical score sheet. And essentially, those are the 5 portions of that exam right there. Okay, next. I love this slide only because I'm partial to the honey wheel. So we get to play with that at the journey level. And we also get to hang out and play with bees under the microscope. We learn advanced anatomy and physiology and honey and hive products. It's a lot of fun. And same deal, written and practical for the journey level as well. And there is sort of an overview of what you're expected to know on the written, and the practical looks a little smaller, but it's the colony characterization and management is a little more intense, because for that you're expected to move through a couple of colonies in a matter of 10 minutes for a full hive inspection without prompts. And then, of course, there's how to requeen, how to graft, and the honey tasting. Okay. Next is our capstone. And again, like we mentioned before, it's all about what brings you joy in beekeeping. As I mentioned, there are 6. The one that isn't on there is developing a satellite hub. So, and you'll note that some of the examples that folks have done their projects on include training an American foul brood sniffer dog. We've developed a honeybee removal and rescue program, introductory beekeeping courses, web support, mapping drone congregation areas, writing books, collecting for a pollen library. It's a lot of opportunity, a lot of diverse learning. Well, next. So basically, those are the costs. And as we mentioned before, the first 3, you have up to 18 months. We'll send you out reminders. And at the capstone level, there's an initial interview. We support and discuss how you're going to set your SMART goals to make it through your project. And then at the end of your experience, when you are ready to make your presentation, you present in front of a panel, and it is a pass or fail grade. We've not done any capstone interviews that have failed. Everybody who has engaged at the master level has really put their heart and soul into it and absolutely done it for the love of bees. So we've generated a lot of really great programs as a result of that. Yeah, you take
Great.
this one. Yeah. And
Yes.
there's a
So
great question in the chat that's relative to this too. Is how do
yeah,
you
there's a couple
handle?
actually.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So yes, we will go over both those questions. Hopefully we'll
yeah,
address them, and I'll go more into detail actually specifically on
yeah.
that. So yeah, so the like the how do you want to learn in this course, or what are the opportunities for learning? That's really where a lot of the value is, right? In addition to connecting with community. So we try to make it as flexible as possible, to give you as many different ways to learn depending on your learning style. So we have options that are really hands or don't have as much guidance, like for example, textbooks and things like that. Like you can just go and read from a textbook, or we have ones with more guidance for you, like the classes that are guided and you have to be there live. So there's different, we'll go through each different one, but you need to figure out what's right for you and kind of develop a study plan, because we don't expect you to use all of the preparation resources that I'm about to go through, because I mean, you can if you want, but you're going to be learning the same thing over and over. We've tried to develop it in different formats for you so you can choose which ones you want to focus on. Also, there's the in-person versus remote, right? Because that makes a big difference for everyone as well. Certain things maybe are easier to learn remote than in person, and certain things are maybe easier to learn in person than remote. like the book smarts, maybe remote. You can see the diagram to talk about it theoretically versus in person, hands-on. So really mix and match to build your study plan. So the first one is it has the more guidance than what you usually think of when you think of a certification program. You think of classes, and you think of university, you think of classes. So we offer classes, and we offer them year round, and we offer them live and recorded. So when you register, you will have the option to enroll in classes that are categorized for the level that you are enrolled in and below. So, for example, if you register for the apprentice level, you will have access to all the remote apprentice level classes and also the honeybee ambassador level classes below that, because that's below it. And also, we have a requisite chart available, so you can use that to kind of plan out your sequence of taking the classes. And I took a snapshot of it here at the bottom left. That's kind of what it looks like. Is, you know, some classes you take before other ones. You don't need to follow it necessarily to a T, especially if you already know some of the content in previous classes. But it is a good guide to try to figure out what order to do things and which classes are more higher level than other ones. And also, we have a lot of classes that aren't necessarily they don't teach to one of our exams, but they're fun, like making mead and things like that. So there's a lot of areas for you to explore beyond the foundational knowledge that we're trying to teach in the certification exam. And who teaches these classes? That's a great question. So these classes are taught by researchers, by beekeepers like you, and sometimes they're leaders of partner organizations. So we're constantly rotating the teachers. Every class has a different teacher. Almost every class has a different teacher throughout every year. So you get a lot of different perspectives, which is great. You're going to learn something new from you can watch the same class one year after the next and learn something new. I want to try to address the question. So how do you handle hands-on lab if the class is asynchronous? So we have in-person classes offered at the lab, and you can come to the lab and take those. The classes that are included in the certification program when you register are the remote classes, but we still offer the in-person classes, and they still teach the exams. Some of them, if you'd like to come to UC Davis to take those exams, but those ones are not included as part of the bundle, because really we don't have too much space. We only have like space for 10 to 15 people, and having everyone in the state come to UC Davis. Usually the classes we have in person are really the really high level classes, like the instrumental insemination and things like that. So I don't know if you want to add more here, Wendy, but that's what I
Sure.
wanted to share for
Yeah.
that.
Hybrid is another option, right? So we've done planning ahead for your first hives, hybrid, so in person and remote at the same time. Also, our Working Your Colonies class is the next one up from that at the apprentice level, is in person. Managing for Varroa, in person. And of course, queen rearing technique short course is always in person, as is the advanced anatomy and physiology, because it's always nice to work a microscope and learn from the best, the researchers at our lab, how to properly dissect bees, and pest and disease ID as well is kind of like a field day approach that we like to offer as well. So essentially, we host the class when we get a dozen or, well, 10 or more people. We work between 10 and 18 at the max for certain classes at the lab. So if folks are preferring to do remote classes and we don't get 10 folks enrolled for in person, then we go remote. Just saying. So it's, and because we also have to charge for our in-person classes, right? So if you choose to take it over Zoom, it's free. If you come in person, there is a charge because we open up the lab, we use the facilities, and because the lab is kind of off campus, we provide always breakfast and lunch, and we have opportunities to go out into our bee yard and work the bees with most of our team at the lab, basically. Dr. Nino, as well as our senior research assistants. So there's a cost. And the costs of our in-person experiences, which usually run on a Saturday from 9 until around 4 o'clock, they run between $100 and $150 depending on what the class is. So, and the asynchronous, Kian, do you want to talk about the online course that we can use as
Yeah,
a
we have that.
study
That's yep, in just a
companion?
couple
Yeah,
slides. I will.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but they
Okay.
also like that's completely valid. Like the in-person experience is like, you know, there's also all the partner organizations, right? And that's really how we hope to partner and connect you and get you all those the in-person experience. And also we have mentorship program to join as well. And really the way that Wendy and I can provide value and support you is through connecting you and providing as many resources online as possible, and then also connect you to the in-person experiences.
Yeah,
So that's kind of
and it's oftentimes helpful if you're a member of your local beekeeping organization because a lot of the classes that are offered at the club level are number one, they're local. Number two, hopefully they're taught by beekeepers who have been in beekeeping for a while. Most of them are, and you'd be surprised how many certified apprentice level, even journey and capstone beekeepers there are across the state now. We're moving upwards to 1,000 strong. So we're confident that our program of train the trainer is out there. And we've designed it this way so that it could be more convenient for you because beekeeping essentially is local, right? So coastal beekeeping is different from beekeeping in downtown Sacramento is different from beekeeping in Temecula. So it's really important to know the beekeepers in your area. So we're great proponents of club level learning, and a part of our mission is to support all of the local clubs as well.
thank you. Yep, and if I didn't already mention this, so when you do register, you get access to all the recordings in the last like 3 or 4 years. So you can watch those at any time. Or you can wait to, attend the live remote ones as well. And so more self-guided options. So we have study guides for each level, and those are always updated. Practice exams, very helpful. That's the most important one. If you want to pass the exam, even if you think you already know everything, just take the practice exam to verify where you're at. Textbook, the official textbook of the program is Honeybee Biology by Dewey Karen. It's the newest version. And the online course, which Wendy had just referenced, that is also available to you. And what that means is there's an option for you to go through like a click-through asynchronous online teaching module course that takes you through all the knowledge areas, and you can learn that way. So you can use a textbook or you can go online and click through, and that was took a few years to develop, and is very it has a large breadth, that online course, and so you can go back to that at any time, and you get access to that when you get to the apprentice level and journey level.
Yeah, it's a great way to enhance your learning. Basically, all you need to do is stick to the study guide, honestly, because everything that is on the exam can be found in the study guide. And even though your exam is 2 hours long, you'd be surprised as to how fast those 2 hours get chewed up at the apprentice and the journey level. So it's helpful to really know your study guide. And because you're allowed, the online exams are open book, we don't recommend you use browsers at all. But really, the study guides are PDFs, and if you control F and plug in what you're looking for, you will find it. But know that you you won't have time to do that for every single question on the exam. So it's in all of our best interests that we do review the study guides in detail.
Yes, and so other options to prepare for the exam that are on the more collaborative side, working with other people. So we have a mentorship program. You can, once you go through the program a bit, you can also offer yourself as a mentor if you're interested in doing that. And this map is, I think, a year and a half old, so there should be more marks on there. But that's the 2 years old map of the mentors. And then support sessions as well, where you can ask questions online. We have this online forum, which is Slack, where you can instant message other people. And as I mentioned, the partners, they have a lot of educational programs like your local beekeeping club classes. And some of them also have a specific prep course for the CAMP certification program. So we
Mhm.
have all of these resources that I'm going through. But then also some clubs work with camp so closely that they developed a in-person study group class to really get you super prepared. But you don't need to um, go through one of these partner prep courses to pass, of course. They're just additional above and beyond. Some partner organizations offer that. But if you are near, great option. You're gonna learn a lot. So with that, we've gone through all of the slides, and we hope that we've shared with you a little bit more about camp and how we're here to support you. And really, when you do get in the program, we have office hours every week. Wendy and I try to know every single person in the program and understand your goals and support you. And so we're your team to help you become whatever type of beekeeper you'd like to be. And thank you for your time. And I know there's a few questions that you were put in the chat. I want to make sure that I address them. Anything else, Wendy? Or
Um, no, we covered the in-person, um, uh, the access to uh, any of the courses in our camp YouTube channel based
yeah,
on the levels. We've covered that as well.
yeah. I see
Um,
Molly's question about the so how you sign up for classes, Molly. If you haven't already done the orientation or watched the most recent recording, I suggest to do that. We try to go through how to sign up for classes and everything. It sounds like if you see a submission for exploring beekeeping class in your account, that means you signed up for it. And that means it might have already passed, but the recording should be in the video library if you missed it. And also, this is useful for everyone. If you go to our classes right now, it's only going to show classes through the end of 2024. We post the classes yearly at the beginning of every year. So you're not going to see the classes for next year. But if you'd like, we offer every single class in the course catalog every single year. So don't think that so since you're going to have at least a year, you're going to have an opportunity to take a class, whatever class you'd like. And then of course there's the recordings too. So hopefully
yeah,
that
and
answers questions.
yeah, rolling enrollment, so you can enroll anytime. You've got 18 months to finish it. So if you decided that you wanted to enroll now and have access to the study guide, and then wait until January to start signing up for all the in-person and online experiences from a class perspective, then that's a good approach as well. And taking the time now to think about who is at your local club, where is it, when do they meet, and get to know some of the folks there, and check out what what classes they're going to be offering in the spring as well. And local clubs are also often really great at securing uh, packages and nukes if you're interested in establishing your first hives. We've kind of missed the window for that this year, but joining your club now and asking about that for next spring is probably a good way to go about it if you're looking to actually keep bees for sure. And uh, Google, I find for myself personally, when I'm looking for something, where's my closest bee club based on where I'm at? And that usually helps me find the closest bee club or association. Uh, I'm not off the top of my head. I don't know if there is one right in the Coachella Valley. Um, but if you cannot locate one, please, if you're having problems trying to figure out who or where your local bee club is, just shoot us an email and we'd be happy to tap our resources to definitely try to get you hooked up with whoever you need to get in contact with.
Yeah, Wendy knows all the clubs. If she doesn't
Not
know
all
one
of
in
them.
Coachella,
There's
it
so
probably it
many.
still is a small group. That's true.
There's
Yeah, there's a
so
lot of
many.
small groups, but yeah,
Yeah,
you do know
yeah,
you know so many of
yeah,
them. It's impressive.
yeah,
How do we apply for scholarship? I see Odessi asked that question. We can send you the link. I think I'll find your email in the signups. Yeah,
yeah,
I'll send that to
yeah.
you.
Yeah, and really, again, remember if you've served, we thank you. If you're a first responder or a firefighter, we thank you for your service as well. And if you're considering keeping bees, becoming a beekeeper, please know that Hives for Heroes would like to assist in supporting you in that endeavor, and they will happily reimburse you. Yeah,
Ooh,
Tom.
can I take that one? Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
So yeah,
absolutely.
the class passes, yes, and that verbiage was introduced this year, and yes, that's a good way to simplify it. So class pass means that once you enroll for a level, you get access to all the remote and hybrid classes, um, for that level and below. So your class
Online.
pass
Yeah,
online, yeah. So if you like enroll in journey level, then the class pass would be for journey level, and the class pass for journey level will give you access to all the remote classes for journey, apprentice, and honeybee ambassador. If you had the apprentice class path, it would just be for apprentice and honeybee ambassador. If you have the master, if you pass master, you'll have access to all the classes forever, which is great. So hopefully that answers that question. Our class passes for remote courses that can't be found on YouTube. Correct. So on YouTube, if you go to the California Master Beekeeper Program YouTube, we do have some of our classes up there to provide some. Our goal is public education, right? We'd love to make everything free, and we do provide a lot of the slides to our
yeah,
partners actually.
yeah.
But if you do enroll in the program, yes, you do gain access to a different video library in YouTube that has much more classes than what if in the smaller one that is available to the public. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's 8 o'clock. We've done well. And again, we thank you for your interest in honeybee health and science-based beekeeping. Thanks for really taking the initiative and owning the responsibility of being stewards and advocates for pollinators that really don't have a voice. We become their voice as a result. And keeping bees healthy keeps humans healthy too, because bees we rely on, of course, for our not only our food security, but just human health in general. So um,
Yeah,
with
thank you so
that,
much.
yeah, we wish everyone um, be well.
You will. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hope to see you soon.
Yeah. And uh orientation, if you plan on joining, is on the 28th, 4th of July,
Oh,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for that reminder. It's just next
Yeah.
Wednesday. Or actually
No,
2 weeks from now.
two
The
in,
weekend
yeah,
after. Yeah, thanks.
yeah, yeah.
Two
So in
Wednesdays
two
from now.
weeks. Yeah. So thank you. Yeah. Be well, everyone. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.